Hello everybody, this is my persuasive speech. Today I have my siblings with me again.
My feet are burned.
My brother and my sister. They are just going to be listening to me. They may not want to, but they're going to because they're awesome siblings and that's what they do. So today I'm going to be talking about food waste and expiration dates. Do you think the average American knows how much food they waste a week? Do you know how much food your family wastes in a year? Many people will be confused by what I mean. We always eat what we buy, or I even make my kids eat their vegetables. To clear things up, no, you don't waste food in that sense. But you may waste food because you're unaware of how much food you and your neighbors throw away because of expiry dates and lack of aesthetic appearance. In this speech, I'm going to be talking about the amount of food wasted in America, expiry dates and what they really mean, and what we can all do as a community to fix this problem, as well as useful tips from Patrick Boltema, a food systems visionary and founder of a Colorado-based company that reuses food that would initially be deemed inedible or old. Stay tuned. The issue in today's society is that so many people follow the rules. Have you ever opened a bag of chips that were past the due date but tasted just as good as the ones you just bought? If that's the case, why is the printed label telling you that you shouldn't eat it? Well, this is what I'm going to be discussing today in my speech. Because of these expiry dates, food is thrown out that could feed families for months. But get this, not only is it thrown out due to expiry dates, but also because of lack of desired appearance. According to Patrick Boltema's speech on food waste, about $300 billion worth of food, that is 40% of U.S. agriculture, is thrown away every year because of grocery stores. In fact, Boltema also states in a speech that 1/3 of our landfills is food waste. Isn't that shocking? Wired.com states that the amount of food lost is close to half of all produce grown. That means that retailers, farmers, and consumers are tossing good food because of the undesired appearance. In fact, it is estimated that 1/5 of all fruit and vegetables are dumped because they do not conform to the food industry's standards of perfection. It is said by many, including Boltema, that the food industry oversupplies everything, including fresh produce. Boltema explains in his speech that the reason for this is because we seem to have the idea that grocery stores will have everything all the time. He then states that, and I quote, "In fact, the standard wisdom in the grocery industry is that if you or I walk in and they are out of an item, there is a 40% chance on that one event that we will switch our buying patterns, which simply means that one store loses a customer due to lack of supply. Of course, in the business industry, it's all about being better than your competitors. So by providing more of what one person might need, you increase your recognition, customer base, and income. Unfortunately, in this process of oversupplying, food is then wasted due to lack of purchase, and in turn, this oversupplied produce and other goods are then tossed into the landfill." Expiration dates. Don't we all love them? It's like having a little person on your shoulder that tells you constantly, "You can't eat that." Well, you can tell that unwanted bugger to shush because you can eat it. According to The Plate, an online learning base funded by National Geographic, about 84% of Americans throw away food because of that little teeny tiny date on the package. The Plate also states that for 7 out of 10 Americans, the expiration date is the most important factor in purchasing or eating food. It seems that we may have a misunderstanding about what these labels mean. Should we take a closer look? The problem with expiration dates contributes greatly to the amount of food we waste in the U.S. In fact, The Plate found from a recent report that date labels could prevent 8 million pounds of good and safe food from meeting a premature demise. Food that could go to hungry families and people in need. Date labels on packaged food only represent the manufacturer's estimate on what they think their food taste and texture will start to become less than satisfactory. And in the U.S., date labels are not for safety, but are used to indicate the quality of the item being bought. While 37% of Americans believe the labels are regulated, they are not. It is a food manufacturer's choice of wanting their products to be better than others, if eaten before a certain date, hence the best by date. One should trust their own sense when deciding if an edible item is safe or still viable to eat. In other words, if the apple's rotten or if the milk is not spoiled, then it should be safe to eat. There are so many solutions to these problems, but people refuse to see them. Patrick Boltema has created an online shop that discounts collected and expired food that is still good and sells it, limiting the amount of food wasted but also providing food for those who otherwise could not afford such. Americans throw away so much food due to expiration dates and unattractive features that our society is deepening the issues that remain with hunger and poverty in our country. TheGuardian.com states that in the U.S., 5 to 10% of the population still go hungry. This is why food waste and food loss matters a great deal. Companies and organizations like Bultema's Food Maven are keeping the acknowledgement of this problem abundant. Along with Food Maven, there are other companies such as Imperfect Produce, a subscription delivery service for ugly food that provides food for those living in the San Francisco Bay Area. Nonprofit organizations are just the beginning to the solution to solve these problems of wasted food and people left hungry. Food Maven uses high quality and local oversupplied food and lost food from manufacturers, distributors, and producers to create an online marketplace where the same quality food found in grocery stores can be bought for half the price. On top of that, any food that does near its state of freshness is donated to hunger relief organizations. Food Maven states that they are good for profits, good for people, and good for the planet, and I couldn't agree more. If more nonprofit organizations were to start something like this, similar to Patrick's business, we as a country could reduce the number of people and families in poverty, provide food for the homeless, and give possible people the ability to afford healthy food for them and their family, and they otherwise could not achieve. This would greatly impact our society, but more importantly, our economy. The amount of money spent on the materials and machines to package more food when produce already on the shelves is still good would be reduced. Less waste in the landfills, which would lead to a healthier life and earth. And the realization that the average person wastes their hard-earned money on more food because the manufacturer says that you need to. What can little old me do, you might think? Well, help out at food pantries and provide your expired canned and dry goods. This food will go towards those in need, those who can help with half the food that's in your pantry. It's not the consumers that put a label on the food, but it is the consumers who think they need to follow that label. Spread the word. Tell your mom, dad, siblings, best friend, neighbors. Tell them the benefits this will have on our country if we start today. Not only will you be saving money as a consumer, but you'll be providing those in poverty the food they need to survive, as well as lessen the money spent by the government on overpriced and packaged foods. And supporting companies like Food Maven is the best way to start. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for being in my speech. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had wonderful help from my siblings, and I hope to hear back from you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.